take another look. Nvidia informed me that Blackwell would be sampling and shipping in large quantities during the second half. It slid, according to the information. It won't be shipping in large quantities, possibly in the second half. So therefore, it's not going to be ready in 2025. Some people are now saying, I don't get that. Shall I purchase Nvidia at a 12% discount? If Nvidia drops 12%, I believe you should buy more. If it rises to 86, you should purchase more. What am I going to say, really? Buying it isn't that risky. It is a supply issue, not a demand one, whether they are delayed or not. Additionally, supply usually doesn't matter as much to investors. The problem is if you tell me there is no demand. Zuckerberg would take all of the Blackwells, according to my sources. The clients are present because Google said, we have to buy. And Amazon said, look, we have to buy. I believe the conference called demoralized individuals. Although Amazon produces certain chips, Blackwell is superior. Nvidia has been too heated, though. I didn't like it when their products were being used to mine cryptocurrency, and this is a significant adjustment for Nvidia. However, should I exclude Nvidia? No. Would I like to purchase Amazon right now? Yes, sort of. David Amazon is currently at 154 after reaching 200. Assume for the moment that I would like to own 100 shares of Amazon. I purchase 25, and I will purchase an additional 25 if the price drops by an additional $3. Since the level of panic at the moment is out of proportion to the facts, I'm attempting to be a little objective. I apologize to Warren Buffett once more. In actuality, Warren Buffett did not have a meeting with Tim Cook and then leave or enter. I believe you must decide for yourself. With the exception of Meta, I felt that Apple had the finest quarter out of all these large corporations. Additionally, I don't want to sell all of these equities due to Japanese-related issues. Yes, I did understand. Look at the losers. ARM is one of them. About ARM, I'm a little concerned. Although it had a good quarter, Masayoshi Son's enormous wealth worries me. Describe the issue. Yes, ARM is fully under SoftBank's control. In relation to the overall proportion, the float is still quite tiny. The stock traded at $58 after opening at $50. However, we are unaware of SoftBank's activities for the year. We also don't know if they made the trade. You see, even if we don't know much, we are aware that they might return. So what? That selling some ARM might be necessary. I'm concerned about it. Nvidia now. Let me just state that there will be a consideration that the information tail, their story stating that they must postpone Blackwell, is incorrect. Because once more, if the corporation tells me that nothing has changed significantly since August, you could conclude that they may from July to August. An ambiguous assertion. You could respond, well, you know what they're trying to say. We're fine during the quiet period. What perfect time to attack a business over the weekend, in a very poor market, when they are silent and unable to defend themselves, when they are a helpless, pathetic giant. You know what? I say as I sit here, I should find another work if I wish to respond to the news in asterisk, the information asterisk. I should just start watching Peacock all the time. I'm not sure. For example, you wish to exercise some prudence. Fair enough, some thought. There ought to be greater consideration. How about the great Russell trade if you just want to be a part of it? Now, how is that going? As it happens, you were unable to escape. The buy-in was only with the futures. It wouldn't stop you from going out, so it was a Roach Motel transaction. I've been informed that. Listen, we'll take you out down 3% is not all they would say. They wouldn't. Brokers wouldn't do it. The Russell then is a fantastic trade. Wonderful. What appealed to me about it? Yes, the cap was little. The small cap worked well. You must be knowledgeable about what you're doing. That ought to be a requirement. Chris Casso, senior analyst at Wolf Research, is here. Given that the stock is being pounded this morning, you might want to talk to Intel about it all. However, did you know that it was hit last week? It did. And as you are aware, Intel experienced a pretty unique situation. It has to do with the money they have been spending to fix their production and the fact that AI is being overlooked. Thus, it's rather contradictory to the reasons behind Nvidia's dominance, which has undoubtedly been a driving force behind the market. However, it's not really distinct because Intel's current predicament is partly due to their failure to capitalize on AI. That doesn't, however, address the ongoing situation with Nvidia. The question is now, do you think this is fantastic or my God, this is a falling knife and it's got a lot more to fall when you see the stock at this price on a morning like this? Remember we were discussing Warren Buffett's sell on aisle 5. Yes, and I always respect the markets when they act, in a way similar to what they did on Friday and today. The foundations of Nvidia are still very solid in my opinion. It never reached a bubble-like valuation, so it isn't. As of right now, Nvidia's earnings for the quarter are $4. It's going higher than that, I believe. It's roughly a multiple of 25. For what is perhaps one of the most significant stocks on the market, it is a great bargain. Therefore, simply consider AI for a moment when you consider. Let's think even more widely now. The other aspect of this is that, and this morning we're examining Apple. Although it's not a stock you cover specifically, it's a sign of this kind of bigger problem. We witnessed Warren Buffett sell his shares in that business. In addition to everything else that's going on, I believe that's probably weighing on Apple. However, do you think AI will trigger a kind of enormous supercycle, if you will, in terms of all hardware improvements over the course of the next year or two? Do you envision a lot more chips being sold, but in the cloud, to power the AI? You may actually divide it into 3 categories. One is artificial intelligence, AI, which powers the models themselves for Nvidia. You need it first, and that should be your primary priority, and it won't go away. That will not go away. A second section then discusses smartphones, followed by PCs, because of what Apple done, which states that you need an iPhone 15 Pro or higher to use Apple AI. We are much more optimistic about AI with smartphones. For that reason, Apple has influence over the ecosystem, regardless of whether you need or want it. From the PC perspective, we're less optimistic about that. And the reason for this is that neither Microsoft nor Intel has any interest in pressuring you to purchase a new computer. Nvidia, for instance, was 141. It will open at 96 today. That's 32%. It exceeded 3 trillion. In theory, it might be less than 2 trillion at some point, yes. What if Nvidia had dominated the market? It went much beyond anything else, of course. However, we don't want the Nasdaq to drop 32%, do we? Only 10 down. The Dow and S&P are down 4% and 6%, respectively, as you mentioned. Nvidia has experienced a 32% decline. Who then gets caught up with whom? Well, keep in mind that Nvidia's growth matched its earnings growth. They're profitable, you know. Now what is this doing? It's down. Now what is it doing? Down too. And throughout the past week, I imagine we've talked to investors, and part of it was, you see what might be going on in the market. This retreat is being sniffed out. The stock that they made the most money on was Nvidia. That's where you make money. It was a great year for me. Now is not the time to ruin the year. Let's remove some cash from the equation. When people phone you, they ask whether you tell them that everything is inexpensive today. Do you say, hold your fire, or go buy, go buy, go buy? We're still there, listen, since the fundamentals haven't shown it. I believe this to be a bit of a mid-cycle correction. For instance, I would be concerned if we saw a slowdown in the use of AI. For instance, the hyperscalers have told us so far this quarter that capital expenditures are rather high at the moment. The explanation is that they just cannot afford not to spend at this time. Additionally, that's beneficial for